Discover the incredible journey of a little sparrow, a touching tale of life change in 30 days. The sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over the rustic town, and the scent of freshly baked bread drifted through the air. Emma stood in her small gift shop, sorting through odds and ends, her heart heavy with worry. Each day was a struggle, but she pushed through for her 7-year-old daughter, Lily, whose bright eyes sparkled with dreams bigger than their small town. Emma's resilience felt endless, yet moments of doubt did creep in like shadows. Then one fateful afternoon, as Emma swept the driveway, a tiny sparrow tumbled from its nest, landing with a delicate thud. It flapped its wings feebly, eyes wide and scared. Emma's heart leaped. This little creature mirrored her own struggles. She scooped the bird up gently, cradling it in her palms, warmth flooding her chest. "You're not alone," she whispered, her voice filled with the kind of tenderness only a mother knows. Each day, as she tended to the fragile sparrow, Emma found purpose amidst her turmoil. Neighborhood whispers and knowing glances seeped into her bones like icy rain. Some saw her as a misfit, a single mother trying to scrape by, while others raised eyebrows over her failing shop. But with every feeding, every small victory of the sparrow, Emma felt a flicker of hope reignite. She was nurturing life, not just the bird, but herself. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. With renewed vigor, Emma devised a plan, a fundraising event for the shop and the community. Fear knotted in her stomach as she imagined facing critics, yet the idea sparked excitement she hadn't felt in ages. She found an unlikely ally in Tom, a local veteran. Together, they forged a bond through shared stories of hardship, their laughter bridging gaps between struggles. But just when the event came together, disaster struck. Unexpected bills piled up, threatening her dream and the comforting life she built for Lily. Emma's heart raced, panic turned into despair. Would she lose everything? The whispers grew louder, but when the little sparrow flapped its newly healed wings, Emma felt a glimmer of hope. It sat at the edge of its nest, a symbol of resilience, poised to take flight. Emma's breath caught as she watched, the moment swelling with anticipation. Could she borrow that courage? Would her community rise beyond judgment and see the spirit of her fight? As the townsfolk began to gather, all eyes were on the bird, and in that charged silence, something shifted within Emma. The sky held its breath, waiting for the sparrow's decision. In that moment, she realized she wasn't just fighting for herself, she was asking her community to do the same. Would they find hope in her struggle? Would she finally soar? The sparrow took a tentative step forward, its tiny heart racing as it stared out at the vast world below. Emma could feel her own heart mimicking the bird's fluttering pace. The townsfolk held their collective breath, a mix of anticipation and uncertainty washing over the crowd. This wasn't just a moment for the sparrow, it felt like a pivotal moment for Emma too. She was teetering on the brink of something big. With a final shake of its feathers, the little bird leaped. Emma watched in awe as it soared upward, riding the warm currents of air. Gasps of admiration echoed around her, their faces painted with expressions of surprise and wonder. In that brief moment, the chatter of whispers faded away. The bird was not merely escaping the confines of its nest, it was breaking free, just like Emma yearned to. "Look at that!" A voice piped up from the back of the crowd. "That little guy knows exactly what he's doing." Emma caught Tom's eye, and he smiled, a grin filled with hope and encouragement. She felt herself begin to smile back. If that little sparrow could fly, then perhaps her dreams weren't so unreachable. Suddenly, she felt a surge of determination. With a deep breath, Emma stepped forward, her voice steady. "Just like that sparrow, we can rise above our challenges," she called out. The crowd turned, drawn in by her sudden bravery. "I know times are tough, but together we can support one another. This fundraiser is about more than my shop, it's about our community." The murmurs grew louder. Some faces softened, while others shifted with curiosity. Emma could see the flicker of interest in their eyes, the curious glances exchanged among neighbors. Maybe they were ready to listen. "I've struggled, but I want to give our kids the future they deserve," Emma continued, her voice echoing through the park. "They should grow up in a community that believes in them, just as I believe in that little sparrow." She waved her hand toward the sky where the bird danced in midair, free and fearless. As it swooped down in a graceful arc, a warm sense of unity began to settle in the crowd. Lily tugged on Emma's shirt, her face bright with pride. "Mommy, look! They're watching." Emma looked down, and she saw the hope in her daughter's eyes. It was contagious. Tom stepped forward, too. "And we've got a great celebration planned, folks. Music, games, and food. A chance to come together, support one another. Let us show Emma what this community is all about." His voice rang out, and the crowd buzzed with a new energy. As the ideas flowed and enthusiasm spread, Emma's heart swelled. This was a spark of hope igniting within them all. But just as she felt the tide turning, she couldn't shake an unsettling thought: what if the whispers of doubt returned? What if they would see her as just a dreamer, a mother fighting an impossible battle? That evening, Emma sat on her porch, staring into the settling dusk. The burden of uncertainty tangled with the glow of hope. Would this newfound sense of community hold? Would they rally together for a cause? In the quiet of that moment, she felt the warmth of something new blossoming inside her. Yet, a knot of fear still lingered. The fundraiser might bring them closer, or it might tear her dream apart. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting shadows long and deep. The weight of what was yet to come loomed heavy over Emma's heart. As she closed her eyes, she whispered into the gathering darkness, "What will tomorrow bring?" The morning light streamed through Emma's window, brushing across her face like a gentle nudge. She opened her eyes, filled with anticipation, as the memories of the previous night's gathering fluttered in her mind. The spark she felt, the unity in the air, it was almost tangible. But was it real? Or just a fleeting moment of optimism? She shook her head, trying to dispel the doubt creeping in. It was time to get moving. She needed to prepare for the day ahead, the day of the fundraiser. A day that might just change everything. As she hurried to the kitchen, Lily was already bouncing at the table, a jumble of energy and excitement. "Mommy, can we make the signs for the games? I want to draw a big sun." Emma smiled, her heart warming at her daughter's enthusiasm. "Absolutely. Let us make the best signs ever." They gathered crayons and markers, and soon the kitchen was alive with color and laughter. Each stroke on the paper felt like adding another layer of hope and determination. The hours flew by as they worked side by side. This wasn't just about the fundraiser, it was about the two of them banding together, wrapping their dreams around each other like a protective glow. As they glued glitter to the edges of their signs, Emma felt her fears begin to dissolve, if only for a little while. "Look, Mommy! It's beautiful!" Lily exclaimed, holding up the sun they had drawn together, its bright rays shining with the promise of a new beginning. Emma couldn't help but smile. "Just like you, my shining star," she said, kneeling to cup Lily's face in her hands, feeling the warmth of love enveloping them both. But as they finished their preparations, Emma caught a glimpse of the clock. Time was slipping away. She had to get to the park, and the thought flooded her with anxiety. Would anyone show up? Would her neighbors care enough to come? As they arrived at the park, the soft hum of conversation hung in the air, mingling with the laughter of children playing. Emma's heart skipped a beat. Their little corner of the world was alive. She could see familiar faces gathering, and an odd mix of excitement and dread rippled through her. Tom was at the forefront, setting up tables and calling for help. Everyone, let us make this day amazing. Bring your energy, your smiles. Emma felt the weight of her worries lift, if only for a moment. She joined in, rolling up her sleeves and diving headfirst into the preparation. But as the sun climbed higher in the sky, a chill of uncertainty swept over her. She needed to make a speech, something to rally the crowd, but what if they weren't interested? What if her words fell flat? The fear gripped her stomach tightly. Emma. Tom's voice broke through her thoughts. He motioned for her to join them at the center of the gathering. It was showtime. The crowd was starting to settle, and familiar faces turned her way. For a moment, she felt frozen, the joy around her dimmed by anxiety. As she stepped forward, she felt the warmth of Lily's little hand in hers, grounding her. She took a deep breath, heart pounding, the whispers of doubt wrestling against the shouts of hope in her chest. All right, she murmured to herself. It's now or never. With the crowd expectantly watching, she prepared to speak, the faint chirping of the sparrow echoing in her mind. Would her words break through the wall of uncertainty? Or would they fade into the noise, just like moments before? In that charged moment of silence, everything hung in the balance. Emma clenched her fists, ready to take flight. Emma's heart raced as she stepped closer to the makeshift stage, her lungs filling with the sweet scent of grass and blooming flowers. The crowd's chatter faded to a soft hum in her ears, and she caught sight of familiar faces, her neighbors, friends, and even a few strangers who had come to show support. They were all looking at her with expectant eyes, and in that moment, Emma felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Hi everyone. She started, trying to project confidence even though her voice trembled slightly. A few children smiled up at her, their faces glowing with innocent joy. Thank you for being here today for our fundraiser. I'm really excited about what we can accomplish together. Tom nodded encouragement from the side of the crowd, and Emma took a deep breath, channeling the energy she'd felt earlier. We're all here because we care about our community, about our kids and what we can do to make things better for them. She glanced at Lily, who was clapping with glee, her eyes sparkling. Just like my little girl right here, I believe in the power of dreams. The crowd murmured, a wave of understanding sweeping through. Emma leaned into that energy, feeling it bolster her. I know times have been tough, but we have a chance to change that. This fundraiser isn't just about raising money, it's about coming together. We all have a part to play in shaping a future where our kids can thrive. She could see the faces around her soften. A woman in the front wiped away a tear, and Emma felt a rush of warmth blossom in her chest. We're not just neighbors, we're a family, she continued, her voice gaining steadiness. And families support each other, lift each other up, and celebrate together. Behind her, Lily exclaimed, "Yay, Mommy." Emma's heart soared. This wasn't about being perfect. It was about connecting, about vulnerability. If we can each give a little, whether it's time, money, or simply showing up today, it all adds up. Together, we can make a real difference. The crowd responded with a ripple of applause, and for the first time, Emma truly believed it. She could feel the tide shifting around her, a collective swell of hope starting to build. So let us not hold back. Let us make this day incredible, for us and for our kids. As Emma stepped back, a wave of relief washed over her. The moment she shared felt electric, and she saw the spark of engagement return in the faces around her. Cheers erupted, and laughter mingled with an infectious energy that rippled across the park. But before the festivities could fully kick off, a cloud drifted across the sun, an unexpected shadow. Emma noticed a group of people standing at the edge of the park, their expressions skeptical. She could feel doubt creep back into her heart. Her voice grew heavy as she wondered how to keep this momentum alive in the face of possible negativity. "Mommy, can we go play?" Lily whispered, tugging at her hand. Emma looked down at her daughter, whose eyes brimmed with excitement. Of course, sweetheart, she replied softly, still watching the group. Just, let me figure this out. As Lily dashed off toward the games, Emma stood for a moment, rooted in place. Would this day truly unite everyone? The sweet taste of success battled the anxiety lurching in her stomach. Gathering her courage, she steeled herself for whatever lay ahead. But as she glanced to the side again, her breath caught one of the skeptical onlookers had stepped forward, meeting her gaze. It was a face she hadn't seen in years. Emma? The voice wove through the energy of the day, sending a shiver down her spine. Her heart raced. What would this encounter mean? Would old wounds reopen, or could it be a chance for reconciliation? With the laughter of children ringing in her ears and support all around her, she moved slowly toward the mystery unfolding ahead. And as she approached, a new wave of emotion built within her. Could this day become more than just a fundraiser? Was this also the moment for healing? Emma's heart felt heavy as she approached the familiar face, one that held the weight of memories she had tried to bury. It was Jenna, her childhood friend, someone she thought had faded into her past along with the mistakes and misunderstandings that had pushed them apart. A knot of fear twisted in Emma's stomach. What had brought Jenna here today? Emma, Jenna repeated, her eyes searching for something in Emma's expression. I didn't know you were back in town. Emma forced a smile, though her heart wasn't in it. Yeah, just moved back last month, hoping to make a difference here. The words felt unsteady, packed with the regret of the past. Jenna took a step closer, her eyebrows knitting together. You've really changed, haven't you? The last time I saw you, she trailed off, shifting her gaze past Emma to the gathering crowd. Emma swallowed hard. We all grow up, right? It was supposed to sound light-hearted, but it landed heavy between them. Emma could almost feel the tension in the air like static electricity. Suddenly, laughter erupted from nearby. A group of children chased each other, squealing and giggling as they leaped through colorful balloons. Emma found herself instinctively smiling, the pure joy of the moment breaking through her anxiety. Looks like you're doing something amazing, Jenna said, a hint of admiration in her voice. You're really trying to bring people together. Thank you, Emma replied, the kindness infused in Jenna's words warming her. But just beneath that warmth, shadows of the past loomed. But there are a lot of people who don't agree. I saw them, Jenna whispered, nodding toward the skeptical group watching from the periphery. You know, they've been talking. Emma's heart sank. It didn't matter what they said today, every negative word seemed to echo louder, reminding her of her failures. I know. But this isn't just about me. It's about the kids, about the future we all want. Jenna looked wise, the way old friends often do when they can see right through each other. Emma, everyone makes mistakes. We can't carry them forever. We have to move on. What if they don't let me? The question had slipped out before she could second-guess herself. Jenna stepped closer, her voice low and reassuring. You have the power to change that. Show them who you are now, not who you were. Emma's heart raced with a blend of uncertainty and hope. Could she really prove to them and to herself that she was more than her past? Before Emma could fully grapple with her thoughts, Lily returned, her cheeks flushed from running. Mommy! Can we do the egg and spoon race now? Yes, sweetie, Emma said, her smile genuine as she turned to face her daughter. But as she did, her eyes flickered back to Jenna, thinking of the partnership that could renew old dreams. With a deep breath, Emma made a decision. Come on, let us show everyone what we can do. The three of them moved toward the heart of the park, where laughter and games awaited. As they joined in, Emma felt the shifts around her, a blend of support and resistance, but mostly, she felt the warmth of possibility blooming. But just then, from the back of the pack, a voice called out, breaking through the jubilant sound of children playing. Isn't this just a wasted effort, Emma? Emma froze, heart pounding again. Who dared question her now? She turned, scanning the crowd for the source, ready to defend her vision. But amid the chatter, she spotted a familiar figure, someone she didn't expect and who might shake everything she believed about this day. The air between hope and doubt hung thick as she faced whatever revelation awaited her next. Emma's heart sank as her eyes landed on the one person she deemed an intruder in what was supposed to be a joyous day. Mark. He was someone from her past who didn't come close to understanding her mission, and his presence here felt like poison at the party. His arms were crossed, and his expression was stormy, casting a shadow across the vibrant laughter. You really want to waste your time on this? He repeated, his voice cutting through the gaiety like a sharp knife. Emma couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe he had the audacity to show up and drop a dark cloud on her efforts. Mark, this isn't about you, she said, striving for steadiness. But the tremble in her voice betrayed her. It's about the kids. And what about your own kid? He shot back, tipping his chin toward Lily, who was obliviously balancing an egg on a spoon, excitement bubbling in her little heart. Do you really think you're making a difference? The air felt charged with tension, and Emma could feel the eyes of the crowd shifting, listening intently. Laughter faded, replaced by whispers. The joy of the day slipped through her fingers like grains of sand. Of course I am. The words burst out before she could tame them. The warmth that had started to bubble inside her faltered, replaced by the cold grip of doubt. I want to show them hope. They deserve a chance. Mark stepped closer, closing the distance between them. Hope doesn't come from using your past like a badge of honor. It comes from facing the truth. You can't just ignore the scars and pretend everything is fine. Her throat tightened. You don't know what it's like to be in this position. You don't know the weight of it. A flicker of guilt crossed his face, but it was gone in an instant. Mark's brows were furrowed, determined and accusatory. I know you're trying to be someone you're not. Everyone knows. Emma wanted to scream, wanted to tell him he was wrong. Deep down, she feared there might be some truth to it. But before she could gather her thoughts, Jenna stepped forward. This isn't helping, Mark, she said firmly. You're only making things worse. Aren't you tired of dragging her back? Mark opened his mouth, but Jenna held up a hand, softening her tone. Emma's not that person anymore. She's fighting to create something different, for Lily and for everyone else. Let her be. His determination wavered just slightly, but he stubbornly shook his head. You carry the past with you. It's not going to disappear. Maybe, Emma said, her voice low, but it doesn't have to define me. Or my daughter. This is about moving forward. The crowd around them shifted, murmurs darting between curious onlookers. Emma felt exposed with every glance. Was she really battling her past today? Or was it more about proving herself to everyone around her? Mark sighed, the fight seeming to drain from him. This isn't a fairy tale, Emma, he said quietly, and hope is a fragile thing. The words hung in the air, heavy and uncertain. Emma's chest tightened again. Was he right? Hope could be fragile, but it was also resilient. As the sounds of the race continued and the children played, Emma glanced down at Lily, her heart swelling with determination. She couldn't allow Mark's words to sink her. Not today. Just then, Lily stepped forward, her tiny voice breaking the thick atmosphere. Mommy, can we go? She asked, her big eyes shining with anticipation. Emma glanced up, suddenly resolute. Yes, sweetie, we'll show everyone how fun this can be. But just then, the laughter returned louder, captivating. Emma turned back to the crowd, ready to dive deeper and rejoin that light. But a new voice chimed in at the edge of the gathering, sharp and accusing. And what makes you think you belong here in the first place? The tension returned. Emma's heart raced as she felt everyone's eyes shift, setting her mind spiraling. Who else was ready to pull at her frayed edges? What other challenges awaited her today? Emma's gaze darted across the crowd, hoping to identify the source of the new voice. It belonged to a woman in unfamiliar attire, her arms crossed defiantly like marks. Her eyes were narrowed, harboring a fire that matched the tension building in Emma's chest. "What do you mean?" Emma asked cautiously. "You're not really trying to save anyone here," the woman shot back, stepping into the light. "You're just trying to rescue yourself from the mess you made of your life." Each word struck a chord, reverberating painfully. Emma's hands clenched involuntarily as she fought against the wave of self-doubt cresting within her. Every smile in the crowd felt like a distant memory, stripped away by the sharpness of the woman's accusations. Lily, oblivious to the chaos around them, tugged on Emma's arm. "Mommy, can we go play?" "Just a second, sweetheart," Emma said softly, her voice hoarse. She turned back to the woman, battling a torrent of emotions. "I'm not here to save myself. I'm here for the kids. For Lily." The woman unfolded her arms, her expression softening momentarily. "Really? Because it looks like you're floundering. You can't just throw smiles around and pretend everything's fine." "Maybe it's not fine," Emma shot back, each word fueled by desperation. "But this is important. I'm trying to make a difference." "What's the difference?" "You're still you," she replied, almost pityingly. "You think this party changes anything?" The crowd murmured again, the atmosphere thick with tension. Emma's heart sank further. Was she really just hoping to mask her pain with festivity? But as she glanced at Lily, giggling with friends, clarity pierced the haze of doubt. "Yes," Emma said, her voice rising above the murmurs. "I want to show the kids my daughter that they can have joy, even amid darkness. This is about their futures." Mark crossed his arms tighter, still watching intently, but something softened in his eyes. The woman shrugged, a mix of skepticism and intrigue as she studied Emma. "You can fool yourself if you want," she said. "By the end of this, I bet all that hope will wash away." Lily's laughter rang out again, pulling Emma's focus back to her. Her daughter was innocence and possibility, a precious reminder that each moment held power. Emma clenched her fists and, for the first time in what felt like forever, she felt the stirrings of confidence rise within her. "No one is going to take this away from us," Emma declared, her voice steady. The whispers ceased, everyone watching as Emma took a step forward. "I know who I am, and I know what my daughter deserves. If we can't make this day brighter, then what's the point of fighting at all?" A ripple of acknowledgement spread through the crowd. A few parents exchanged glances, their faces reflecting understanding. It felt like a tiny flicker of solidarity slicing through the tension. But just as Emma drew strength from that moment, the woman leaned in closer, a knowing smile teetering on her lips. "Let's see if that bright light lasts, shall we?" The challenge hung heavy in the air, and Emma felt her heart beat echo with the doubts again. Was she truly enough to bring about change? As laughter bubbled back, she swallowed hard, glancing at Lily, who was now spinning with delight. The shifting dynamics of the crowd made her realize there was more to come. This was just the initial storm. Uncertainty hung in the air, and as Emma took a deep breath, the questions churned in her mind: could she wield hope like a sword? Would she find a way to weave joy into this complicated tapestry of her life? As she turned back to Lily, ready to rejoin the moment, another unexpected voice chimed in, one that sent a fresh wave of anxiety crashing over her. "Are you really prepared to face what's coming?" Emma felt a chill run down her spine as she turned toward the voice, her stomach knotting with unease. The speaker was a tall man with a serious expression, his jaw set, making his whole presence seem even more imposing. For a heartbeat, time slowed as the crowd's laughter faded into a murmur, the festive atmosphere abruptly shifting, and a heavy silence took hold. "Who are you?" Emma managed to ask, her voice more wobbly than she intended. What do you mean by what's coming? The man stepped closer, and the crowd instinctively closed in, eager for answers. His eyes were piercing, yet there was a glimmer of something concern, perhaps? You think this gathering will shield your daughter from reality? From what happens when the music stops? Emma's heart raced. This is more than just a party for the kids, she insisted, pushing back against the weight of his words. We're trying to create a community, to give them something hopeful. Hope is fragile, he replied, his tone flat. Like glass. And when it shatters, it can cut deep. The crowd visibly shifted, some faces portraying confusion, others beginning to reflect a sense of fear. Emma felt the warmth drain from her cheeks. Was she really just setting herself up for failure? But then she remembered Lily, her vibrant spirit dancing among the other children, blissfully unaware of the doubts swirling around her mother. It was that innocent joy that lit up the corners of Emma's heart. It's tough, I know that. It's not easy to hope. But it matters. I won't give up on this. I can't. The man regarded her for a moment, his expression softening slightly. You need to prepare your daughter for the truth too. Life isn't just joy, it's about the struggles that come alongside it. Are you ready to teach her that? Emma's chest tightened. Teaching Lily about struggles? The thought shook her. Could she juggle the joy she wanted to protect with the burdens of reality? Would she scar her daughter by showing her the truth behind their circumstances? Mommy, can we go play now? Lily's voice cut through Emma's racing thoughts, pulling her back to the present. Emma knelt down to meet her daughter's eyes, searching for the right words. Sweetheart, just a minute. I need to think. The man stepped back, giving Emma space. In a world that often feels dark, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is face the truth. Don't bury your head in the sand when the wind starts to howl. She swallowed hard, absorbing his challenge. The crowd held its breath as she struggled to maintain her fierce facade. So what? We just give up? Hide away in fear? No, he responded. Face it head on. But you need a plan. Because when that moment of truth arrives, you must be ready. For both you and her. Something about his words settled heavily on her heart, awakening a fear she had tried to ignore. Shadows loomed, both inside and out, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the woman from earlier and this man were right, something was on the horizon. Emma's resolve was tested, the air thick with uncertainty. What if I'm not strong enough? She finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Emma felt the air grow colder, and as she looked from face to face, it became clear that she wasn't alone in her struggle. They were all wrestling with the complexities of life, standing at the precipice of uncertainty. Then you gather your strength, the man insisted, voice firm. You find your allies and face it together. As he stepped back, Emma felt the weight of his challenge settle in her bones. Would she choose to face the storm, or allow the darkness to sweep over everything she built? With her heart pounding, she drew a deep breath, looking at Lily once more before turning to the crowd. We can fight together. For our children. For hope. But as applause began to ripple through, a shadow moved behind the man, a reminder that the real test was yet to come. Are you really ready for the challenges ahead? The question echoed in the air, haunting and tantalizing, leaving Emma to wonder just how deep the battle would go. The atmosphere shifted, tension hanging like the dark clouds before a storm. Emma felt it in her bones. She swept her gaze over the crowd. Some faces were set with determination, while others wore a veil of anxiety. They were all there, united by the same fragile thread of hope she clung to, but that thread felt more like a lifeline to the abyss with every tick of the clock. Are we really going to just stand here? The voice came from a woman near the front, her desperation cutting through the stagnant air. What do we do next? We can't just hope that things will change on their own. Emma's heart ached at the rawness of the plea. It echoed her own fears. She glanced back at Lily, who was joyfully spinning with a group of children, blissfully unaware of the shifting landscape around her. That joy was a precious gift. How could she protect it without also preparing her for the inevitable? Maybe, Emma began, her voice firmer now, bolstered by the need to take action. Maybe we can host community workshops. Share our stories. Grow together, not just for our children but for ourselves too. Nods of agreement filtered through the crowd. A wave of energy surged, and Emma felt her pulse quicken with a renewed sense of purpose. The man watched her closely, his eyes a puzzle of admiration and caution. "Good," he said, stepping forward once more. "But remember, building hope is about more than what you create. It's about confronting the truths that lurk in the shadows." "Right," Emma replied, her gaze steady. "We face those shadows together. For our kids, for each other." The resolve in her voice sparked something in the crowd, an ember igniting hope into something much larger. As they broke into conversations and smaller groups, Emma knew they were beginning to forge the connections needed to support each other through whatever storm was brewing. Children ran and played, their laughter a reminder of the light they were fighting to protect. Yet, amidst the chatter, something still gnawed at her. The man lingered on the edge of the gathering, observing intently as if he were a guardian against something unknown. "Do you have a name?" Emma asked him, half curious and half demanding an anchor for the whirlwind of thoughts racing through her mind. "Jake," he replied simply, giving her a fleeting smile that hinted at stories untold. "Well, Jake," Emma said, casting a glance over the gathering, "I hope you'll join us. If you believe we can succeed, I'd like to hear your thoughts." He nodded slowly, as if considering how deeply involved he wanted to become. "You just need to remember, hope must be tempered with preparation. Are you ready to face what's coming?" Emma felt that chilling sense of urgency return, but it curled around her like a cloak, shielding her as much as it threatened. How could they stand firm against the unknown and prepare their children? Together. The word slipped from her lips, punctuated with a firm nod. "Together we can be stronger." With a newfound spark, Emma started to exchange ideas with others, building a framework of plans. There were discussions on support groups, resource sharing, and even fun community events that could reclaim their joy while nurturing resilience. Laughter mixed with determination, and soon Emma could see the path unfolding. But just as she felt the flicker of triumph, a sudden hush fell over the gathering. Emma turned to find every face turned toward the darkening sky. A deep rumble resonated overhead, the kind that sent a shudder through her very core. "Is it just the wind?" someone muttered, but the rising dread was palpable. Emma's heart raced. Something was on the horizon, and it wasn't just the summer storm. The faces around her mirrored the same worry she felt, and she pondered, was hope enough to shield them from what lay ahead? As raindrops began to patter softly against the ground, she realized, this was just the beginning. The journey to confront whatever was coming had only just begun, and she needed to gather her allies, now more than ever. "Stay close. We need to prepare," Emma shouted, her voice rising above the growing wind. What awaited them as they faced the storm, and were they truly ready for the challenges ahead? The storm gathered speed, clouds darkening the sky, swirling ominously above the park where laughter had just echoed moments before. Emma felt the tension build within her, a stark contrast to the joy and progress that had blossomed just moments ago. She looked around, her heart racing as the first drops of rain fell, quickly merging into a heavy downpour. "Keep calm," she shouted as everyone instinctively huddled closer, the joy evaporating into a shared anxiety. "We've come together for a reason. We can handle this." But inwardly, she questioned if they could truly weather the storms of life together. As the rain intensified, the crowd buzzed with nervous energy. Parents gathered their children, the excitement of play giving way to fear. Emma could see Lily's eyes wide with confusion, grasping her mother's hand tightly. "Mommy, what's happening?" "It's okay, sweetheart. Just a little rain," Emma replied, trying to inject confidence into her voice. But uncertainty gnawed at her insides. The tension broke when Tom stepped forward, raising his hands to quiet the crowd. "Let us find shelter. We can regroup under the pavilion." With that, people began to shuffle towards the covered area, caught between the instinct to seek safety and maintain a sense of community. Once under the pavilion, the atmosphere shifted. Kids were still giggling despite the rain, using the downpour as a backdrop for imaginative games. Emma watched as laughter broke through the fear, a glimmer of resilience shining even through the storm. "See, Emma?" Tom said, nudging her shoulder. "They're still full of hope. Let us channel this energy." Emma nodded, her heart warming as she felt inspired by the children's spirit. "You're right. We just need shelter for this moment. We can figure out how to face the rest." Behind her, Jake moved closer, watching the kids run around as droplets fell around them. "Hope is not just a shield, it's momentum," he murmured, almost to himself. Emma turned to him. "What do you mean?" "Even when life overwhelms us, hope gives us the courage to stand tall and keep moving forward." His eyes sparkled with understanding. "But we must also be smart. We need backup plans for whatever comes next." As they huddled under the pavilion, Emma felt a spark of determination rise. "We can create a community meeting for this. Let us talk about how to prepare for all storms, literal and metaphorical." Cheers echoed from the gathered group, and a few people gestured for her to speak up. "Everyone!" Emma called out, excitement flooding her voice as she stood tall. "This storm is just a challenge we can overcome together." A wave of muttered agreement surged through the crowd. "I know that times have been tough, but we're not just here for fun, we're forming bonds. Let us share our stories and knowledge. It's about healing and growing." The response morphed into applause, the noise of hoping hearts clashing with the rhythm of the rain. "We can create outreach programs, resources, and workshops. We can build our strength against the storms of life." For every naysayer lurking in her mind, she found voices championing her. Mark, huddled at the edge of the crowd, crossed his arms but wore an intrigued expression as he listened. Emma realized change was possible, not just in her heart but in the community around her. She could turn vulnerability into strength. When the rain began to ease, she seized the moment. "No more hiding. We need to figure this out. Together." With newfound energy, Emma began organizing ideas, creating teams focused on specific endeavors, like mentorship for kids or a soup kitchen for those in need. Conversations flowed freely, crafting plans for community upliftment and resources to lack thereof. Amid the discussions, laughter broke through, children's voices ringing bright like bells against the patter of rain, resonating through the pavilion. Emma glanced down at Lily, animated and alive with joy, her heart swelling with fierce love. Suddenly, an idea sparked. What if we create a storytelling event, where kids tell their dreams and fears? It could be cathartic. The crowd caught fire with excitement. Jake stepped forward again, his expression shifting to one of genuine support. "That's it. Offering space for expression nurtures creativity." Their spirits surged as they pooled ideas together. Emma felt and saw the cracks of fear starting to mend, hearts widening to embrace hope and possibility. They were doing it, actively creating something new, resilient against the storm. As the last drops of rain fell, Emma felt like embers had ignited into full flames of determination among her friends and neighbors. They were not just surviving, they were thriving in the face of challenges, preparing for what lay ahead. "United, we are unstoppable," Emma shouted, her hands gripping the podium as she surveyed the crowd. Applause erupted, cheers of encouragement filling the space, sealing the bond of strength and resilience surging through the community. And in the distance, she caught sight of the little sparrow they had nurtured earlier, fearlessly soaring through the sky, a symbol of what it meant to rise, no matter how many storms life threw their way. In that moment, Emma knew they could face anything together. And in her heart, there was no doubt left. It was time to rise. Hope is just the beginning, she declared, her voice ringing strong. Let us embrace this journey together. The crowd erupted with passion. As they united closer, preparing for battles ahead, Emma felt it. This was just the beginning of their flight, together. Now, a new call to action echoed through her mind. This is your moment to make the difference. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss exclusive stories that inspire fight in every heart. Feed the algorithm and push that like button now. Share your feelings, comments about this journey. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends navigating their own transformations. Your support is the fuel that keeps this channel alive.